I paid off my parents' mortgage for 3 straight years. But at the family dinner, my dad raised his glass and said, "Let's thank your brother for covering the house payments all this time." My brother smirked, even though he never paid a cent. My mom just nodded proudly. I didn't say a word, just pulled out my phone, requested a full refund, and watched their smiles disappear one by one. Prat 2. I kept replaying the moment in my head, my dad toasting Derek. The smirk. The clapping. My hand stayed clenched on the steering wheel long after I pulled into my apartment parking lot. Part of me wanted to believe it was a misunderstanding. Maybe my parents had forgotten. Maybe they thought Derek was helping in some other way. Fixing things around the house. Buying groceries. But deep down I knew better. This wasn't some mix-up. This was a story they had allowed to grow. Maybe even encouraged. They'd built a version of reality that made them feel good. And I'd been too quiet for too long to challenge it. The next morning, I checked the mortgage portal. Sure enough, the payment I'd canceled showed as scheduled failure. The bank would probably call them in a couple days. Maybe they'd think it was a fluke. Maybe they'd call me and ask what was going on. But I didn't wait. Instead, I took the day off work and started putting things in motion. There was a paper trail for everything. Every mortgage payment tied directly to my account. Every receipt for home repairs. The fridge invoice. The new tires. I printed everything and organized it in a folder. Not because I wanted revenge. Not yet anyway. But because I needed to remind myself I wasn't crazy. That I had done all those things. That I wasn't just some forgotten side character in my own family. 3 days later, the phone call came. "Hey," my dad said casually, like we talked every day. "We just got a weird message from the bank. Said the mortgage payment didn't go through. You know anything about that?" I paused. "Yeah," I said, "I canceled it." There was a long silence. "Why would you do that?" he asked, with this edge in his voice like I'd stolen his wallet. "Because I'm tired, Dad. Tired of being invisible." "What are you talking about?" "You stood up and gave a toast to Derek." I said, keeping my tone flat. "You said, thanked him for paying the mortgage. He's never paid a cent. I've been covering it for 3 years. And you acted like I didn't exist." Another pause. Then a snort. "You're being sensitive." That hit harder than I expected. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it confirmed everything I already knew. "I'm being sensitive?" I asked. "I've given you tens of thousands of dollars, never asked for anything in return, and you hand all the credit to the guy who still lives in your basement and plays poker with your money. He's trying his best." My dad snapped. "Then maybe he can try paying the next mortgage bill." I hung up before he could answer. It wasn't long before my mom called. She didn't yell, she rarely did. But she slipped into that soft, disappointed tone she reserved for when she wanted to guilt me. "We didn't mean anything by it, Adrian. It was just a toast." "Mom," I said, "do you realize no one at that table even knew I was the one paying for the house?" She was quiet. "You let them believe it. You let them believe it." More silence. "Then, we didn't think it mattered to you." That stung in a way I can't fully explain. I told myself for years that I didn't need recognition. That doing the right thing was enough. But it did matter. It mattered that my own family was comfortable rewriting reality as long as it made them look better. It mattered that I had been cast aside so easily in favor of the golden boy with the winning smile and empty wallet. "I'm not mad about the toast," I told her. "I'm mad that you saw what I was doing for years and still let them give the credit to someone else." "Well, what do you want us to do now?" she asked, with this hint of exasperation like I was the one making things difficult. I didn't answer because I wasn't sure yet. But that night, I went over every single financial contribution I'd made to that household. The mortgage, the car tires, the refrigerator, the 2 surprise utility payments, when they were on the verge of being shut off. It was over 50 grand all told. I thought about walking away, just cutting them off, letting them figure it out. But something inside me, something cold, tired, and deeply fed up, whispered that walking away wouldn't be enough. Not this time. They had rewritten history, so I decided to rewrite the future. The first step. That folder I'd made with all the receipts and proof. I scanned it all, turned it into a digital PDF, and sent it, anonymously, to every extended family member who'd been at that dinner. Aunts, uncles, cousins. The subject line was simple. For the record, I didn't attach a name, just the documents, clearly showing my bank account making the monthly payments. Each page with a date, amount, and confirmation number. There was even a copy of a handwritten thank you note from my mom from the first month I started helping. A note she probably forgot ever existed. And then I waited. It didn't take long. Within hours, I got a text from my cousin Maria. I had no idea. "Are okay?" Then Uncle Ray called and said, "Hey, I just saw that email. Was that really you paying the mortgage?" Word spread fast. And then, finally Derek called. I let it go to voicemail. His message. "Hey man, not sure what that was all about, but it's kind of low to air family stuff like that. You could have just talked to us." I didn't respond, because I wasn't finished yet. That was just phase 1. And the real damage. That came at the next family gathering, when the spotlight finally turned, not on Derek's accomplishments, but on my silence and how loudly it now spoke. The next family gathering came sooner than I expected. My cousin Andrew was turning 30, and his wife threw a big dinner at a local restaurant. One of those places with dim lighting, white tablecloths, and waiters who look like they hate their jobs in a really elegant way. It wasn't technically a family only event, but word had spread that most of us would be there.